The following podcast is a part of RadioMisfits.com. And now it's time for the Mr. Nailsin Show. Well, this marks a special occasion.
Why? What do you mean?
Well, this is going to be the final review of Space 1999.
Oh my God! I can't believe we're here. This time sure flies, doesn't it?
Not really. It took a while.
Well, if you're gonna be that way,
It doesn't matter. Anyway, so the final episode, and I got around to watching it.
Okay, well, what was this one about? And what was it called?
Oh, it was called The Dorcons.
What?
Yeah, The Dorcons. Well, it wasn't spelled that way. They spelled it with a C, but yeah.
So, let me guess. They were a bunch of dorks.
Well, they were the villains for the most part in this episode. So it starts out, a mysterious craft was floating out in space, and the moon passes by it. So Alpha team's looking at it and wondering, what's this all about? And so it starts to probe the Alpha base.
Oh, my God.
No, not like that. It just scanned them and stuff.
Well, you could have said scanned.
Yeah, all right. And then it takes a particular interest in Maya. And, well, it turns out the Dorcons are her bitter enemies of her people.
Oh, good Lord.
And apparently they're the most powerful race in the galaxy. And so she's all terrified and whatnot. And so the Dorcons,
well, I can't help it.
Well, they demand that the Alpha people hand her over, and can be on their merry way, you know. And of course, you know, the Koenig says, "Well, we're not doing that," you know. And of course, Tony's like, "Absolutely not. She's my gal."
Oh, that's right. They were an item.
Yeah. And so the Dorcons say, "Well, then you leave us no choice. We're gonna take her." And so they have a battle, and Koenig launches the Eagles after them. They tried to zap them with their lasers and all that, but none of it's any good. The Dorcons are just too powerful, as Maya had told them. You know, said it was hopeless. And so after they get their asses handed to them, the Dorcons decide they're just going to beam over to the moon base and take Maya.
Oh, wait, they could beam over like Star Trek?
Yeah, pretty much. I guess they just called it teleportation or something. But anyway, basically they just shine a spotlight on the set, and these guys just poop. There they are, you know.
They pooted in?
No, I mean, they just appeared.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, they go and get her. But before they arrived, Maya had shapeshifted. But turns out the lead lady here who was sent over to retrieve her had some sort of brooch.
A brooch?
Yeah, that's what it looked like. And it glowed and shined the light on everybody. And when it got to Maya, even though she had shapeshifted into another woman, it recognized her and gave her a headache, and she cried and stuff.
Oh, my God, that's terrible. Well, you know, they're villains. Oh, that's right. They're dorks.
Yeah. And so that's about it. Not much they could do. So they take her and zap back over to the Dorcan ship. But Koenig leaps into the spotlight, and he goes over to the ship as well. Well, you know, they slap him around or whatever. Anyway, it turns out the Dorcons are interested in the Psychons.
The who?
Well, that's who Maya's people were.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Psychons. Good Lord. It's like dorks and psychos.
Yeah. Well, the Dorcons can achieve immortality if they take the brain stem from Psychons and implant it in themselves, and then they become immortal.
Well, then what happens to the Psychon?
I thought they would just die.
Yeah, you would think.
But apparently, no, they just sort of live on as sort of brain-dead vegetables, you know?
Well, you know, Tony could probably be satisfied with that.
Yeah, maybe. But Maya didn't seem too happy about the idea.
Well, I guess not.
No, so another little revelation is their leader's Doctor Who.
Oh, my God, really? They crossed over?
No, not really. It's just Patrick Troughton played their old leader, so he's getting old, and so he wants that Psychon so he can put the brainstem in him, and then he can become immortal. And so that's basically what they're after. And, of course, all the Psychons are dead, so she's the last one. So this is his last chance at immortality.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. So, oh, my God. Man, this seems tough. How the hell are they going to get out of this one?
Well, as luck would have it, there's some, royal struggle going on within the Dorcons. And there's this bitchy, tutti-frutti prince there who realizes if the old man becomes immortal, then he'll never get to be king.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, the old man would never die. I mean, if he's Doctor Who, he could just regenerate.
Yeah, but he's playing a different character. So anyway, that's really their only shot. And so this prince or what was he? Yeah, I guess he was called a prince. Anyway, he plots to help out Koenig to get to try to free Maya. So he goes and knocks out the guards or whatever, and then helps Koenig escape. And he's you can go free your friend Maya, you know. Of course, he goes down. The Koenig immediately runs down the hall, but he doesn't know where he's going. He gets lost. And
why did the guy put him in the right direction?
I don't know. He just didn't. And then the guards start chasing him, shooting at him, and all this stuff. And then, well, the prince shows up again and kills those guards, and then tells him, "Hey, you go down this hallway to the surgical area. That's where you'll find Maya."
Well, he should have said that in the first place.
I know, but he didn't. So, off he goes, and so the prince slips into the guards are still chasing Koenig, so he's got to crawl through the air-conditioned vents.
They have air-conditioned vents on this spaceship.
Yeah, and of course they're big enough for him to crawl through.
Right.
And he eventually gets to the surgical room, but by the time he gets there, the prince has already gone in there and killed the old man.
He killed Doctor Who?
Yes, he killed him, and then decides he's king, you know, and he's going to keep Maya for himself so he can be immortal. So then Koenig bursts in through the air-conditioned vent, and they have a fight. And then, but right before he did, I guess the prince was going to move Maya somewhere else or whatever. So he turned this little stasis beam she was under off. So now she could turn and she could shapeshift again. And so she turns into this monster and, attacks the stupid prince. And then, they knocked him down or whatever. I forget the whole deal, but so Maya and, Koenig escape and they're running down the hall. And I guess he remembered the way back to the, teleport area beam, whatever the hell. And they get there, but then, the chief lady chick who picked her up in the first place, well, she shows up and they're supposed to arrest or kill, Koenig and Maya because the prince saying, "Oh my God, they murdered the king."
Oh, that bastard. He's just double, timing everybody here.
Yeah, well, he's the bad guy.
Well, they're all the bad guys.
Well, yeah, kind of, sort of, but, him even more so.
Right.
So they confront him and what's her face, Koenig, says, "No, we didn't kill him. He did." And, well, since she didn't like the guy in the first place, she believes Koenig.
She believes an alien man she only just met.
Yeah. I mean, she really didn't like this prince guy.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So, I don't know. They fight and then they blast something and they're like, "Oh no, the shield." So the whole ship starts blowing up. Koenig and Maya jump into the beam and it zaps them back to the moon base.
Well, man, that was lucky.
The whole thing was lucky, really, but, it worked. And then I guess the ship imploded in on itself or some crap. And then that's it. And then they have a little joke. Koenig says, wow, that was quite a woman. And then Dr. Russell's jealous. And then, I don't know, some flirty crap between Tony and Maya, and that was it.
So that's how it ends.
Pretty much. I mean, there is this clip they did years later, I guess, for the Blu-ray extra. And it was the lady who played the Sandra character, and she gives like a farewell message to anyone who might catch the signal. As they said, they found the planet, and they're going to settle it and stay there. And so that's that, as the moon base has to drift off on its own or whatever, because they're out of supplies and shit,
Oh, well, so I guess that wraps up the story in the only way it could have.
Yeah, it could have, because there was no way they were getting back. And even if they did, the Earth, the time differential would have been so incredible that the Earth was way beyond, everyone they knew on Earth is long dead, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess that's sad.
Yeah, I guess so. So anyway, that's that. I guess the show didn't do as well as to merit a third season, so 2 seasons. That was it.
Yeah, there was always some reference that they might, bring it back or do another one.
Yeah, there was attempts at a 2099.
Oh, right, yeah. I guess it would be stupid to say it's 99, because now we know for sure that stuff didn't happen in the year 1999.
Well, I guess you can always say it's an alternate timeline at this point.
Oh, God, not that again.
Yeah, well, so, I don't know, maybe someone will try to revive the property, because they always do that these days, and that kind of thing. Although, it's pretty much been done. I mean, that spinoff, Stargate, was pretty similar. They were on this ship, and they were lost in space.
Yeah, that's the thing. Space 99 was really like Star Trek combined with Lost in Space.
Pretty much. Yeah. I guess they could have used like a smart-ass robot.
And a conniving, mischievous doctor?
Maybe not so much that.
Yeah. Well, that's that. I guess we won't be doing any more reviews.
Well, while I was watching it, even though I had seen some of these episodes in my youth, I'd never gotten to see the entire series. Until I did this. But the production company had done a show previous to that, and called UFO. And so I'm thinking I'll just continue on with that. Like, we'll be going backwards, but I'll review those episodes on the Nailsin show. And that might be interesting. And these, this is fresh. I've never seen any. I've seen a lot of images from the sexy girls and everything.
Oh, well, of course.
And I don't know. Before that one, there was this puppet show they did.
Puppets?
Yeah, kind of like, how Super Adventure Team and Team America was?
Really?
Well, not that graphic, but they were puppets.
Right. That's nice.
Yeah. So, UFO, I guess, will be the next one when I get around to watching those. But that's it for Space 1999. This is a Nailsin News Bulletin. Well, another teacher is facing an additional 52 charges because of her affair with a 15-year-old. A former Illinois special education teacher accused of molesting a 15-year-old student has been hit with 52 additional charges relating to previous accusations of child sex crimes. DuPage County State's Attorney Robert Berlin announced in a statement that 30-year-old Christina Formella has been indicted on 52 additional counts of child sex crimes against the student. Formella is facing 20 counts of criminal sexual assault, Class 1 felony, 20 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse, Class 1 felony, 6 counts of indecent solicitation of a child, Class 3 felony, and 6 counts of grooming,
Class 4 felony.
Formella was arrested March 16th when she was a teacher at Downers Grove South High School. At the time, Formella was charged with 1 count of aggravated criminal sexual abuse,
A Class 1 felony.
1 count of criminal sexual assault,
Class 1 felony.
and 1 count of aggravated criminal sexual abuse.
Class 2 felony.
Police body cam video of Formella's arrest shows her appearing confused when an officer asks her to step out of her vehicle during a traffic stop. With her husband in the passenger seat of the vehicle, Formella exits the car and is placed in handcuffs. Body cam footage shows Formella crying in the back of the police cruiser. "I feel like I'm gonna throw up," a sobbing Formella is heard say. Yeah. The DePauw County State's Attorney's Office stated in a previous news release, on March 15th, 2025, the victim, who was 15 years old at the time of the alleged assault, and his mother went to the Downers Grove Police Department to report inappropriate sexual conduct allegedly committed by the boy's soccer coach/tutor, later identified as Formella. It was alleged that the student and Formella were in a classroom for a tutoring session before school began in December 2023, when the teacher sexually assaulted the boy. But in its press release, the state attorney's office said, following further investigation, it is alleged that the sexual abuse began in January 2023 and continued through August/September 2024. The new allegations against Miss Formella, including the allegations of grooming and that the abuse lasted nearly 2 years, are beyond disturbing. I thank the victim in this case for having the courage to come forward during what I imagine is an extremely difficult time for him. Authorities noted that Formella sent the victim multiple text messages that were grooming in nature and that she and the victim had engaged in sexual acts approximately 50 times, both at the school and at Formella's home, including at least 45 times at the school. Well, according to WGN-TV, they got this following text exchange that took place allegedly between the student and Formella. Student says, "I love you so much, Mama." Formella responds, "I love you so much, baby. Even though this morning was short, it was perfect." Student responds, "I know, baby. It was perfect, baby. So perfect." Formella responds, "I love having sex with you." In case there was any doubt, Student responds, "I know, baby. I love it so much. It feels so good. It's so passionate. It's so intimate. It's so perfect." The alleged victim's mother reportedly discovered text messages between the boy and Formella on her son's cell phone. Yeah, that tends to happen. In addition, Formella allegedly had a secret memoir in her phone's notes app, in which one note said the student cheated on me and called him disgusting, according to a petition to deny her pre-trial release. "We will never, ever be together again," Formella allegedly wrote. "I'm not a second choice. I'm the best thing you'll ever have, even with all of my mistakes." Formella asserted that she was the victim of a blackmail scheme the student orchestrated. Formella said everybody comes after her because she is good looking and she is just a good person who cared too much about the boy. Well, Formella allegedly told investigators that the student broke into her phone and sent text messages to himself to set her up for blackmail. She claimed that one day the boy had grabbed her phone unattended and entered her passcode. She just leaves that lying around, I guess, and had the message sent to his phone, and then deleted the message from her phone and had saved it to his phone as blackmail. Well, a likely story. Well, okay, that's her claims that he set her up with the text messages, but what's the other evidence? They didn't really go into the details. They did add a whole lot more counts to prosecute her under. So what else is there, you know? So, was he able to set that up too? Well, we'll see. But once again, you know, when you get in the messages here, you know, obviously she's the adult, but mentally, not really. You know? So he started dating a girl that's probably his age, and she's like, I'm the best you ever, yeah, and all this stuff. She's regressing. She never left her adolescent sense of mind, you know? And so he's the age of the type that she actually identifies with. But that's not enough for her to get off on an insanity parade now. I mean, cray-cray, sure, but not cray enough.
This has been a Nailsin News Bulletin. And now, from Nailsin Productions comes a space opera adventure like no other. Bubba, Stargone, and the Uranus Patrol!
Hey, Dr. Lear.
Huh? Oh, Lieutenant Lefty and Captain Snuffstuff, I believe. What are you doing here? Actually, Dr. Lear, I'm going to need you to transmit all of the data on all of your projects to the Eureka, and then accompany me and Lieutenant Lefty to the teleportation chamber. What? I don't have time for this. We're in the middle of a crisis, Captain Snuffstuff. Why are you pointing your ray gun at me? To ensure your compliance, Dr. Lear, one way or another, you're coming with us. What? Lieutenant Lefty, just what is this all about?
Hey, this is the captain speaking. Seems, Mr. Spot and Polyp have tracked the mutant lizard monster to level C. So you might want to avoid that place if you don't need to be there. In the meantime, Dr. Lear really could use that tracking, biorhythm thing we talked about earlier. So, chop, everybody.
Bubba's right. I've got to transmit that data to them pronto.
Not until you transmit all of your project's data to the Eureka, Dr. Lear.
What? Lefty, what is this all about?
Just do what he says, Dr. Lear.
Very well, I suppose I have no other choice.
Exactly, Dr. Lear. Now you're really using your intellect.
Yes, well, speaking of my intellect, I can't help but suspect that you're working for the Martians.
Never mind that, Dr. Lear. Just keep your mind on your task.
No need. It's done.
Well done, Dr. Lear. Now if you'll just accompany me and Lieutenant Lefty, we'll head down to the teleport chamber and be on our way to the Eureka.
But the teleport chamber is on level C.
Oh my god, that's right. The monster.
Well, as you both realize, I am armed.
Well, yes, but the creature was able to take out Mr. Spot's team, and they were more heavily armed than you.
All right. I'll contact the Eureka and have them zap us over from there.
Well, now, that could be very risky.
Well, so is staying on board a ship that's being stalked by some sort of mutant lizard, along with several tons of atomic explosives. Eureka, this is Captain Snuffstuff. Captain Snuffstuff to the Eureka. Come in.
Eureka here. Go ahead, Captain Snuffstuff.
Lieutenant Drillstain, I'm requesting an emergency teleportation. You are to home in on my signal and to zap me and 2 others to the Eureka immediately.
No can do, Captain, as long as the Edsel has that medical lockdown quarantine thing going, you know.
What? Drillstain? As the captain of the Eureka, I am ordering you to zap us over.
Yeah, but Captain, as long as that quarantine's we can't transmit signals other than communications, you know. And so I certainly couldn't zap you over. Your molecules would just bounce off the force field of the ship and scatter you out into space. So until we can get through that and the lockdown's over with, then we can do it. Because to be honest, I don't really know my way around the teleportation doohickey, so everything's being run through, the PAL 9000 system. And it ain't gonna budge until that quarantine's over.
Drillstain, patch me into, the PAL 9000 system.
This is the PAL 9000 Eureka. How may I help you, Captain Stuff?
Well, you can override the quarantine protocols of the Edsel and zap us over there immediately.
Negative. Authorization for overriding quarantine protocols not available.
As captain of the Eureka, I am ordering you to override those protocols.
Negative. Authorization to override quarantine protocols can only come from Chief Medical Officer of Spaceship Edsel.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, well, that's that. I guess there goes those big plans.
Well, not exactly, Dr. Lear. We're going to have to go to Level C after all. And you're going to help us teleport onto the Eureka utilizing your pinhole wormhole apparatus.
What? No, that's insane. No, it can't be done.
Now don't try to play me for a fool, Dr. Lear. The pinhole wormhole apparatus utilizing the teleport chamber is exactly what you were working on in order to turn the tables against the Martian Armada. So it should be pretty simple for you to use it to get us to the Eureka.
Well, wait a minute. What do we need the pinhole wormhole apparatus to zap us over to the Eureka for?
Well, damn it, Lieutenant Ludi, haven't you been paying attention? Thanks to the quarantine protocols, we can't transmit any signals to the Eureka. So I will need the pinhole wormhole apparatus to bypass it because, again, we can't transmit any signal.
Wait a minute.
How are you able to transmit your data to the Eureka, Dr. Lear?
Well, that's because, I didn't. I transmitted the data for the schematics of the biorhythm tracker of the mutant lizard to Butsy on the bridge.
Oh, and I guess you think you're very clever, don't you, Dr. Lear? But not clever enough. I'll simply take you, with all your info in your brain, with me to the Eureka. Now let's go to the teleport chamber. Now!
But what about the mutant lizard?
We're all out of options, Lieutenant Ludi. So you had both better hope that I'm a really good shot. Oh, no. If the mutant lizard doesn't get them, the Martians will. Is this it? Will the Martians finally get a hold of the genius of Dr. Sars Lear? Find out in the next exciting episode of Bubba, Stargone, and the Uranus Patrol. Bubba Stargone and the Uranus Patrol is written and performed by me, Douglas Nailsin, with music provided by Kevin MacLeod and other public domain sources. The views and opinions expressed during the Mr. Nailsin Show do not necessarily reflect those held by RadioMisfits.com. So, any complaints and or comments should be sent to @Mr. Nailsin on Twitter, where they will be promptly ignored and or blocked.
Space 1999. Yes.